Blog Talk Radio.
welcome to the Mortuary of Shadows. Spiders are back, too. Mortuary Shadows is brought to you by A Poetic Slice of Life, which is a group located on allpoetry.com, the largest poetry community on the internet. And we want to thank Kevin and his crew for keeping that website up, giving us some place to write our poetry, read our poetry, and just have a good time with friends. Poetic Slice of Life is also owned by my lovely wife and co-host Kay, who is doing her multitasking thing right next to me.
Hi,
Did I say multitasting or multitasking?
I don't know what the hell I'd be tasting.
I don't know either.
Just sitting here.
Yes, you do have a Pepsi.
No, I don't. Yes, yes. I forgot I grabbed it.
Because you have a little tickle in your throat.
Yeah, I might be getting sick again.
Maybe, or it could have been one of the spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the vocal cords.
That's right. It's in there tickling. This week on Mortuary of Shadows, it was a request. A request from Phil the Poet, our good friend. He wanted us to do Salem's Lot. So, we took a bunch of quotes from the book written by Stephen King and a couple quotes from the miniseries from 1979 starring David Soul for everybody to write to. Of course, you'll find that one of the quotes was more popular than the rest.
Yeah.
As usual, that always seems to happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think we get some pretty good dark writes from this, as well as some that are kind of lighthearted as well, I believe.
That always happens for every mortuary.
Yes.
You have to balance the light and dark.
Indeed. And you need that because that's what life is.
Yeah.
Every poem that we read tonight that the author is not here to read themselves, we have received written permission from those authors to read their material. And without further ado, shall we go to the phone lines?
Yes, sir.
And add a little razzle-dazzle to the show. Hello, Raz.
How you doing, Steve? Nice to see you here at the mortuary. It's
I'm good. How are you?
Good, long, dark night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Snowing here.
Definitely not intimidated by those shadows showing up every week.
No, sir.
Yep. Snowing here. We're under a winter storm watch until Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, long week.
It's going to be fun.
They're going to change that warning to coronavirus soon, so want to watch out for it. Be making a stand.
This is true.
Yeah. You know, I do the coronavirus, right? Just grab a lime and kick
Have a
back.
beer. And eat chicken in the dark.
Eat chicken in the dark.
There you go.
It's so...
Screwdriver and an ice bucket.
Yeah.
Or as he quoted, I can quote the show, right? Even though it's not a quote we included in the contest.
Yeah.
When they were talking about Patrick March in Horror Story Hotel, and they said, please, you telling us not to murder is like the colonel telling us not to eat chicken. And he said, I am not familiar with your military friend who loves poultry, but...
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So, where do you want to start?
Is that a reference to the people in Salem's Lot? What they were actually eating up there at the mansion?
No. We finished binge watching American Horror Story season 5 today for next week's show.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But I did not include
I might
that
want to
chicken
come by
quote.
to that.
Yeah. I did not include the chicken.
Go better with chicken.
That's true, especially when it's dark.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, since Dan's out there on the board. Hello, Dan. He's trying to listen in while he's at work. Shh. He's at work.
Hello, Dan.
Dan just wrote this an hour ago for the show, and it's called Within. I haven't even had a chance to comment on it. Here we go. True terror propagates, not in the hands of those who afflict and maim, but in the recesses, folds, and crevices of their minds, hidden under tattered remnants of sanity that had long been displaced by the evils within. For those burnished who are possessed by madness have not acquired a heart to stem the red tide of purge and insanity, to forestall the inevitable of sins unrequited. So when fear knocks upon the door, just remember, the true darkness awaits, purring silently in membrane synapses. It waits patiently to unleash its spawn into the sullen, woven fabric of thought. End poem. Yes, I like this. He wrote to the quote, "We'd all be scared if we knew what was swept under the carpet of each other's minds," which I do believe was the most popular quote to write to.
It was.
And Kay's least favorite quote of the show. But,
I don't need to say that.
yeah, but, yes, we all, everyone, no matter who you are, has a darkness inside you. And it's just a matter of how well you control it, how well you keep it hidden, how well you keep it down. And they only let it out in constructive ways, such as writing a dark poem like this. Yeah. Excellent, right, Dan. Boot ho. Excellent. What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, the darkness which stays within, that's usually not a manifestation of a person's personality, but creeps along sometimes when you're anxious and go to sleep at night. And so outside of non-frequent nightmares, you might not be aware of any such darkness. And that's what I see in Dan's poem.
Excellent comment. What you think, hon?
Well, yeah, that's true. The thing is, it's like you said, that at the end of the day, everybody has their own hidden thoughts that they don't express, maybe because they don't want to, because of how they think it may sound, or because they might intimidate somebody with those thoughts. But I thought he did very well with the quote, because, yeah, this turned out to be even more popular quote of the night. And, of course, I got some dark breaks from it, too, as well. But, yeah, the inner beast within, the thoughts that haunt the mind, it definitely is one that can carry its own rabbit hole of many realms.
Yes, indeed.
Amen.
And
I let Wayne in.
hello, Wayne. How you doing? Wayne, you muted?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was muted. Yeah, I'm a little tired, but I'm doing well.
As I say, you're probably burned out. Huh? This is your third show tonight?
Oh,
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got the ears going like, what the heck was that? I can't think of it now. From Beowulf.
Yeah.
Grundle.
Grundle?
Grundle had big ears in Beowulf.
Oh, no. Wayne had issues with...
Sorry, Wayne.
With his ear being swollen. My face was itching.
I'm glad you're back, though, man, because we were missing you, worried about you too.
Yeah, that beer has been a wild night so far. My basketball team won, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
Excellent entry, Wayne.
Was he here in time to hear Dan's right?
No, he came in the middle of that. Nothing.
Did you hear Boot Ho's poem, Wayne?
No, I didn't hear that. I heard the last. Somebody said a comment on it. That's all I heard. Just the last little second of it.
Okay.
I didn't hear it. I'll read it in a minute.
Okay. All right. I see that Sandy's joined us out on the board. Hello, Heavenly Angel.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Wayne needs to read and run because he's exhausted.
Oh no, I'm not. This is my last stop tonight. I'm gonna hang out. I ain't going nowhere else.
Okay. Okay, cool. And where'd you want to go, huh?
Well, I said Heavenly Angel on the board.
You want to read for her?
I'll try.
Read it like the Freddie line.
No, what do you mean?
1, 2.
No. You guys are lucky if I'll get through about coughing.
True.
So I'm not sure how much I'm going to actually want to read from you.
All right, guys, and we got to put our female voices on.
Female voices on. That's funny.
I like the picture she used, too.
Yeah. Okay, and Heavenly Angel also went with the quote that Dan did as well about what is hiding inside one's mind. And this is by Heavenly Angel, and it's called Ranting from a Diabolical Mind. 1, 2, I'd love to destroy you. 3, 4, watch your blood flow on the floor. 5, 6, I stab you with a crucifix. 7, 8, my soul is full of hate. 9, 10, no repenting of this sin. 10, 9, never hate my diabolical mind. 8, 7, I live among the unforgiven. 6, 5, I plan to take your life. 4, 3, be terrified of me. 2, 1, your time is now done. Say goodbye to your life. End poem.
Wow. All right, with that, we're all going to get out of here.
No.
No.
We gotta get the book out.
Yeah. Right, yeah. A direct quote from My Bloody to Valentine's. Get the folk out.
Yeah.
This is this is really cool. I like how she mixed a little of the Freddy Krueger in there. The 1, 2, 3, 4. That's at least what I thought of when I saw that. And just like I said for Dan's poem, because I'm going to sound like a broken record, everybody seemed to love this quote. You know, everybody does hide darkness, some more than others. But we who can control it are suitable to interact with society. Just don't ask what we're hiding. This is an excellent write. What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, here, I mean, since in general the topic is horror, I didn't see the movie Salem's Lot, but a lesser-known production called Dark House, in which some people get caught inside of a home that was the haunting ground of a former killing years past in the town's history. And there's that line there about stabbing someone with a crucifix. The character in that film, they had a religious side, but it was only up to the point that when being a child responsible for the very murders, why everyone felt haunted by the house. So where you might perceive Salem's Lot or Wes Craven, there was a different type of story that occurred to me hearing this Heavenly Angel poem. And otherwise, it's quite a taunt, but you find that one does not ordinarily hear these things, except if not what the quote says, because there's that psychological barrier that you have to keep away from others, what's in the back of all of our minds, which might just be darkness.
Awesome comment. What do you think, Wayne?
Oh, I think I like it a lot. It's great style, like the style she used, where she counted up and then counted back down, nice and dark with a countdown to death. The phrases are real nice. The first one she says, "I love to destroy you." I think I was married to that woman, and I enjoy the reading, the eeriness of the poem, and all the phrases. Good poem.
Awesome comment. What did you think, hon?
Yeah, when I first read it, I was kind of stumbling on my words a little bit because I wasn't sure. It took me back a little. But I thought it was a great write. I really did. It definitely captured the darkness. And I'll go on what Wayne said. I think I know somebody like that, too. I share blood with that person, supposedly.
Yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
See the nail on the head.
Listening.
Yeah.
Or else we might hear those gunshots getting closer.
Yeah, from a gun hacking psycho.
Watch your blood flow on the floor.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. Where'd you want to go? Oh, Wayne, your poem's in the. Yeah, I like this one. Wayne, your poem's
That's the caption straight out of the movies. Out of the slot.
That is from the book.
Purple faced monster was the vampire.
Yes. The picture is from the miniseries in 1979.
Okay, I'm back.
The quotes are mainly from the book.
Yeah, they have the graphic really done classic like, but usually these days you think the vampire looks as mortal as any other human being outside of that taste for blood.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. Whenever you're ready, Wayne.
Okay, I'm ready. This is called Vacation Homes for Rent. And the quote I used is the first line was the quote I used. It goes like this. I think that an evil house attracts evil men. I know an open billfold attracts evil women. If you want the vacation, I know the spot. Gather your family and go to Satan's Lot. A place where you can visit and maybe retire. Your best friend may be a vampire. Try to get some rest, ignore the sound. That may be piss coming out of the ground. Go ahead, rent the house on the hill. Before you go into bed, eat a good meal. Next morning, there's no telling how you'll feel. Don't worry, they'll teach you how to kill. Lock your door when you go into bed. Nighttime, bring out the walking dead. If you walk in the woods, best not get lost. Remember to always carry a large cross. Satan's Lot, I wouldn't go near it. Here it has a mean little spirit. If you go, you better learn. There's a good chance you won't return. End.
I'll tell you, Wayne. This is one hell of a commercial for the vacation spot of Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Cheap, too.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, very cheap. Don't worry about that stuff coming up on the ground. That's just piss. And of course, the second line too just cracked me up right off the bat. I know an open billfold attracts evil women.
Yeah, I know for sure that.
This is just great. It's cracking me up when I read it the first time. Yeah, Salem's Lot definitely doesn't sound like a good place to take a vacation. This is awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What do you think, Raz?
Here, there's a reference point to a separate classical horror film, House on the Hill, and that by Shirley Jackson is referred multiple times in Stephen King's books. So I like that extra touch that it's genuine to the whole form. And then furthermore, if there's a vacation spot, where to expect that? I mean, the brochure could pretty much mean anywhere on the map, but Wade did a great creative job with the writing.
Thank you.
Excellent comment. What do you think, hon?
Well, as I said in my comment to you, if one knew better, they would not visit Salem's Lot because it's got too much bad energy there that's not worth the trek. And I don't think I would ever retire there, ever.
Adventure. Lots of adventure.
Yeah, right.
Not
well,
the kind I want.
If you did retire there, then there's a chance you become immortal, either dinner or immortal, one of the two.
Yep.
It's like cake or death.
Tea and cake or death.
And who doesn't want to look like a vampire?
Yeah.
He's cute.
Yeah. I'm outside, oh, honey, I'm outside grilling, and all of a sudden I started smelling piss. I looked down, and it's just bubbling up out of the ground.
That is so terrible.
Who's in the basement? This is awesome.
I think one of the quotes said that. One of the quotes said that. I should have threw that in there.
Yeah.
Might have just been the neighbors walking the dog.
Yeah.
What's that smell?
Just your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
No.
Squatting like the devil.
Oh, my God.
Be like acid coming out. Oh, sorry. We shouldn't talk about her too much. Where did you want to go?
Oh, my gosh, Wayne, you're right. You nailed it. You really did.
Thanks for the comments, guys.
Oh,
No problem.
Sure, man. If you're strapped for cash and you want a vacation, Salem's lot it is.
Heck no.
All right. Here comes our bronze winner from the contest. Razzle Dazzle. Bring it to us, Raz.
Yeah, I didn't expect to win the bronze. This happens to be one of my favorite writers, Stephen King. So thanks for the prize. Here we go. The lot was just my lot. Barlow hunting knife cut into the palm or the big woods logging camps abandoned in the squat holes of the spruce spine bluff. And never escaping my lot. And so was the public records of bizarre events in the 20th century depicting the high mortality rate for the Spanish flu, whose influenza bug decimated 16 million. And the mutation of human DNA, natural engineering, to rid the depopulated areas twittering and rugged, nickelback, incapacitated slugs. And so was the Gomorrah and pillar of salt, was just my fate of wasting to the negative energies replaced, of the respiratory disease motion and breathing the foul air which covers the main woods, or the city towns of Austin, Boston, Newark, etc. When massive industrial pollution and the carbon deserted smog fed the burning woods, conflagration's horizon seeping to the fog, erasing clear visibility in the tumbling smoke, lightheaded and the dizziness broken altitude, plowing the hazy bellows of the fire cedars smothering the vapor test recessives. Through irrelevancy of time, the whooping bird calls, echo the bracken brow, and dig out willow words. A resonance higher pitched to the fear of the supernatural predator. The natural phenomenon conceals ipso facto, would only disclose if one stops on the trail road and thinks for too long. Old-timer, suffering a biased Parkinson's disease, looked at mid-adulthood and dementia to be younger victims. The older the bones, emancipated of all those who died to keep drawing shorter breaths, the badge of honor in the heaps of dead, like wirewood, stripped and piled symbolic totems, ergo poisoning called lesser men to the wicked, to dissolve guilt of Guam and Tahiti, when men so savage saved absolutely no one, decades passed from death's cold, chilling touch, helpless to defend themselves of life's usual human condition, when one was that only for the young, a rabbit foot bloodied on the side of Portland, U.S. Interstate 1, rest stop and gathering the natural process anti-digestion, remediation of the flies tearing and buzzing the inanimate organic fibrils, buckshot luck. But yet, who's to deny if this is just your lot? And boom. And I chose the most popular one so far tonight, again, that we'd all be scared if we knew what was swept under the carpet of each other's mind. Hello?
I'm still here.
Yeah, we're done with the phone now. I hope I didn't put you all to sleep reading the lot.
I think they're probably making out over on a chair or something.
Well, darn it, I was muted. Sorry.
Oh. I didn't know you muted.
I forgot that I did.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure, just in case one of the cats started speaking up. But yeah, I thought this was a powerful write. It made me think of government and some of the things that they might do that might be questionable. And like I said on the comment on your poem, who knows what evil lies in the hearts of men? You know, are some of these things done intentionally, accidentally, or just acts of nature? Perhaps sometimes it's better just to not know. But this was an excellent write, and definitely deserving of the bronzer. What did you think, Wayne?
Oh man, it's amazing, right? I don't know how you can go through one topic and change it so smoothly to the next topic and just keep the flow going. It's a beautiful write, and I like you had some great sentences in here, like those who died to keep drawing shorter breaths, the badge of honor in the heaps of dead, like wires stood stripped from a pile of symbolic totems. It's just all the way through. You make your words sound so wonderful, and the way you got them lined up there, and the way you change from one place to another is just perfect. I like the poem a lot.
Thanks.
Awesome comment. What do you think, hon?
Well, yeah, this was, we said that this is the popular quote of the night. And the quote chosen, you always bring a lot to think of to begin with in the writing that you bring. Because the thing is, the thoughts that are not shared that exist within one, they can be deadly, they can be frightening, but also saddening as well. Because a lot that is not said can be one that takes a life, but also harms others as well. And you definitely reflected that very well through your words.
Yeah. It isn't the darkness, it's whether or not we can control it.
This is true, too. It has its facets. Some can.
Others just let it out.
Yeah. Or else there wouldn't be serial killers or planned acts of
revenge.
Harm and revenge and all that other good stuff. Yeah. True.
Yeah. Awesome job, Rose. Where do you want to go next?
Yeah. I'll have you. I'm using your tablet to drop links. It's not really you dropping it, it's me.
Okie dokie. Well, this is from the man who requested this subject, Phil the Poet. And he actually brought it to, because he hit the gold winner for us. And he wrote to the quote, same one. Really? We'd all be scared if we knew it was swept under the carpet of each other's minds. And it's called, The Mind Creates Its Own Delusions. An image lurks beyond your peripheral vision, makes your mind race with dark thoughts. A creaking floorboard adds dimension to your fear, conjuring up memories from long ago. An icy breath caresses your neck, whispering your name with a haunting melody, frozen to the spot, afraid to acknowledge the grip that the mind has on you. Frozen by the sorcery of your imagination, dare you recreate something that is not there? An open window relieves a curious mind, places a false hope that fades with fear. Your mind begins to wander, the warning. The story told 1,000,000 times in myth, no more. The fear implanted in an innocent mind blossom weeds and thorns of regrets. Vampiric specters cry out from behind the broken mirror, their reflections lost in the recesses of your mind. The delusion begins to fester, begins to meld. The imagination designs its own reality. You close your eyes, but the illusion becomes clearer. The past is coming back, swept under the carpet, along with the boogeyman that's under your bed, accompanied by the scream of the wailing banshee. Delusion manipulates the fearful mind, pulls it into its own created world, filled with paranoia. You awake, trapped inside a living nightmare. End poem. I thought this was awesome. He brought it for sure. It's amazing sometimes how your eyes and mind can play tricks on you and cause so much irrational fear. That's what I saw in this. I saw like when you're laying in bed in the dark when you were a kid and there was a coat hanging on the back of the door and you'd stare at it until it decided to start moving. Yeah, freak you out. That's what I saw in this poem. I thought it was awesome. What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, this brings up how the mind sometimes does go through waking nightmares depending on the person. What stood out for me, because I've been through the experience, is the line, vampiric spectres cry out from behind a broken mirror, the reflections lost in the recess of your mind. And that reminds me of waking up certain mornings and looking at my own reflection through the window, and what's staring back doesn't seem in the slightest bit mortal nor human, and that kind of unnerves a person. So I think it shows deep reflections on the kind of way the mind can play with a human being's own psyche. There's definitely descriptions here, like you were saying in Phil's poem, on just that. Great, right?
Excellent comment. What you think, Wayne?
I think it's a great read to start with. He did a good job on the read. Phil defines what fear is in this poem. He knows what fear does, how it reacts, and how it works. So he did a great job with this. And I remember everything he said. I've been through. And when you're younger, you kind of go through all the little things he's talking about. You close your eyes, and the illusion becomes clear. The illusion manipulates the fearful mind. He's got it down pat what fear is, and it's lovely right. He always has good write and a good read. So he did good with the read, and it's a good poem. I like it.
Awesome comment. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, I like the closing stanza, because it's very true when he says delusion manipulates the fearful mind. Because sometimes it can be so easy to manipulate a mind into thinking certain things, and a lot of times it's self-created, and sometimes when you go too far, then it's hard to get back to reality and see where the truth really lies.
Yeah.
So that line right there is very strong in itself of what it conveys, because, it's just like when you're a little kid, like when I was little, I was afraid to keep my legs or hands out from under the covers, dangling down, because I was afraid that, something was going to be under the bed and grab you.
Yeah.
That's all stuff that's self-created, but yet you believe it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, it goes all the way into adulthood.
Oh, I know.
Here's a test to see if I'm a lunatic or not.
Oh, yeah?
Has anybody else ever been in the shower and you got the shampoo all over your hair and it's in your face so you can't open your eyes, and all of a sudden you get the feeling somebody's in the bathroom with you? Ever had that happen?
Yeah, you get a little draft on you. You think somebody's in there with you.
Yeah.
Up in there.
Damn it, I can't open my eyes.
No. Yeah. I start singing just to scare them off.
Awesome.
Well, no, I definitely feel that at times too, but in our house it usually is true because there's a cat in the bathroom with you.
Yeah, well, the cat opens up the damn bathroom door. Sometimes flushes the toilet too while you're in the shower.
Well,
yep. No, don't happen.
Yeah. Then you definitely hear screaming from the bathroom.
Yeah,
the state's really hypocamia or hypogogomamia, when you're waking up and you can more or less still imagine the things that followed you in your sleep as somehow physically being around you until you're oriented again with reality. What appears to be the living nightmare at the end of Phil the Poet's poem. Just when you wake up, there's a couple of minutes where hypogamia might happen, and you might hallucinate other people there, but they're not. In reality, it's your dream state not coming back into full focus of your senses.
Yeah, that's happened to me too before. Yeah. Usually with a nightmare. It doesn't usually happen with a good dream. It happens with a nightmare.
Yeah.
What bugs me is when I wake up at night and it's pitch black. It's pitch black in my room, so I got blacked out. So when I wake up at night, I feel somebody on my lips moving around, and it's my cat usually, but it just scares the shit out of me. I turn on lights.
Yeah. That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. My cat will put her damn cold, wet nose right up against my nose and wake me up.
Yeah.
Oh man, my cat just whispers across my nose.
No, I know. I'll see people purr in your ears sometimes.
Yeah.
To make sure you're awake.
Hey, wake up.
Yeah, you slept too long.
Food dish is empty.
Yeah, that's it exactly. I jump up and say, "Oh, you go great, now hug her." I think that's you.
Where do you want to go, hon?
Well, yeah. I just wanted to say in passing what Will said. That's actually very true because, I've had my own issues with nightmares through the years, and they can be very horrific, very graphic. And there's those times that I woke up very angry or in tears, and I couldn't shake it for a good part of the day because it still seemed like it was still very much there because I was fearful of, moving, fearful of the day itself. I can understand that very well. Sometimes the dreams, they come back into your waking life, too, when you first wake up. And it just, that's the mindset that the mind carries.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Phil got hell for right.
Yeah, he did.
And to a popular quote of the moon, mind you.
Yep. I reckon this was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah?
You were dozing on the couch, and all of a sudden you woke up going, what?
Because I thought you were talking.
Good thing we don't take our guns to bed with us.
Was that during the Super Bowl when Kansas City won?
No, actually, we didn't watch the Super Bowl. We didn't. We lost our cable provider at the end of January, and we never picked another one up. So we haven't watched anything aside from Netflix.
Great Super Bowl.
Yeah, they usually are.
Yeah, so I didn't get to see that Snickers commercial until I watched it on Netflix. That Crystal was talking about the one day.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
The halftime show.
Well,
halftime show was pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's like the Groundhog Day commercial.
Yeah, the Bill Murray Groundhog Day commercial. I did see that one. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. And the little boy running out on the field, that commercial had a commercial with little boys running down the street and running across the whole town and rail tracks, and all of a sudden he runs out on the field in real life and hands them the football. That was a great little move.
I don't know who Bill Murray is in that movie Groundhog Day, but by the time you're 70 and it was still the same day, I mean, you have to face it. You probably found hell. And whatever's been going on with your biological process, there was nothing to do with ever going to that town. But it was, 40 years in the past that you've been going to the same day. It's real harsh punishment to see the Groundhog commercial, what the aftermath was years later.
That's true.
Where did you want to go, hon?
I'm going to switch it up.
Switch it up.
Yeah, since I didn't realize I was inadvertently picking ones of the same quote. That was wrote to.
I think 90% of the poems written tonight were written to that quote. Oh, so you're going to read?
Yes, I am, because I used a different one.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, so let me open it up because, let's see here. Let me look at my topic folder here. Let's see which one.
You wrote the crying is like pissing everything out on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. That can be true. Okay, and I know Wayne and you heard this last night, so I apologize. But yeah, I also read it or wrote it for tonight too. And I call it Connection of Intangible Insight. Duality of continuum through madness becomes a civil war of mind. Unforgiven in the black, the sacred kidnapping of the soul speaks of monsters among us. Estranged with nowhere to roam, institutionalized mind, down in a hole, broken as one, through the melting pot of life. The sterilized mind is haunted, the way back unknown. Breathe this smoke, the sacred hand of life is protection of mind. Code of the street, brutality of truth. Who will bear the weight? Step in the arena, blow up the past. The reality of continuum through madness, screams. Sojourn for fire and rain. Strange, with nowhere to roam. The sterilized mind is haunted. Code of the street, fallen prey to what makes one blind. All sold out, one-eyed jacks of collision courses. In the whirlpool of abyss and the dark hearts of man. A spirited soul devouring all realms. Extraordinary magic happens when the devil weeps his fill. As one becomes blessed, gift of clarity speaks of sanity. So to others they see madness. Crying is like pissing everything out on the ground, as fear unconquered imprisons. And
yes, and my comment's going to be very similar to what I said last night. This is very powerful. And yes, sometimes when you cry, you do just let everything out, especially if you've been bottling up things for a while.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the tears start coming, and they just will not stop. But some of the imagery that you used in this is just amazing. The one-eyed jacks of collision courses, just like I said last night, one-eyed jacks are usually what people say, one-eyed jacks are wild when you're playing poker, so that made me think wild cards of collision courses. But what really hit me is those last two lines. As fear unconquered imprisons, because yes, if you cannot conquer your fears, they will imprison you. And I thought this was an excellent, excellent write, hon.
Thank you.
What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, here you go more or less into the lower depths of depression. Why it feels pretty much that miserable that there's just pissing on the ground. If you reach a real low point with depression, there's not anything in the world that has a positive reason why it's there. As you're gripping with the sickness, all you see is really black, and that kind of emotion sort of carries on with the interconnectivity of what is intangible to the mind, like the title said. Good, right, Kate?
Thank you.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think?
Yeah, like last night I said it's a wonderful poem. It ought to be on top of a mountain somewhere or be taught in a classroom. I like where she says, duality of continuum through madness screams, sojourn of fire and rain, is strange with nowhere to roam. The sterile mind is haunted. It's a beautiful poem. Just beautiful all the way through. And I think it's a great one of the better poems I've read by Kay. I like it.
Thank you, Wayne.
Excellent comments.
Yeah.
I gotta go feed my cat, but I'll be back. I'll be back.
Okay, doke. Is Mr. Gilman, solicitor, here tonight?
I think, yeah.
I might be able to read for Gilman.
All right, it's up.
All right. The poem Salem's Curse. It's had a dark fantasy, metaphorical, and rhyme. Salem's Curse. The whole town trembles in the dark. Every day was another shadow. There was a blight upon their souls and an evil that would not let go. You could see the fear in their eyes. You could hear denial in their voice. The normalcy of life was a lie, like they lived with darkness by choice. If you come here, do not tarry. The sunshine is painted on smile, lest you find yourself not living. For in Salem, all die after a while. End poem.
Excellent read. What'd you think?
Captures, in essence, this place, whether or not it's in New England, that Stephen King describes in Salem's Lot. It's one of those towns that, what can you say of the population or even the geography, that it's completely, more or less, drained out of life from the very vampirism which has seeped not only into the populace, but also the common grounds, which is a dire warning within the poem by Mr. Gilman.
Excellent comment. Yeah, I definitely agree. I thought this was very cool. He, of course, was our silver winner. I thought it seemed like a warning, about the town. Come on in for lunch, but get the hell out before dinner. I thought that it read like it should possibly even be on the back of Stephen King's novel itself, because it really kind of, in a way, sums up the whole feeling of the town. And I'm not sure if JEG 325 has ever seen the movie or read the book, but it sure seems that one of the two. I thought this was an excellent write. What about you, hon?
Yeah, I thought that was a cool write, because he wrote to the quote, "The town knew about darkness. It knew about the darkness that comes in the land when rotation hides the land from the sun, and about the darkness of the human soul." And his write definitely brought that forth, because I like when he speaks of denial of what exists, because if one is in denial of what is there, then it leads to falling prey of what lies ahead, because being in denial, it will creep up on you and you won't notice it because you're too busy trying to deny what's going on. He brought definitely the fourth the feeling of what the town it brings, the dark feeling. Yeah, he definitely got it. He really did. The normalcy of life was a lie. You know, that in itself, that could be spoken to life itself, because the normalcy of life, sometimes we try to tell ourselves that certain things are normal, but they're really not.
Yeah.
And, you know, that could definitely be brought forth to the movie and to the quotes as well in the book. Excellent, right?
Right, and I saw on the board that Wayne says he's back a little out of breath.
Yeah.
But he heard the read.
Yeah,
Would you like to comment?
Yeah, I took off running hard as I could. I ran down the steps hard as I could and fed the cat and led outside and ran back up there. I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out. But it's a good reader, as, and this is a good poem. I feel like the last stanza especially is good. It says, "If you come here, do not tarry. The sunshine is a painted on smile. Lest you find yourself not living, for in Salem all die after a while." Has a great little ending on it. I like the poem. It's a pretty good and good read, and I'm out of breath.
All right. Have a beer.
Yeah.
Just not a Corona.
Not a Corona.
Quick reaction time.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, you.
Okay.
Do you know what one you chose?
Yeah, the one that you wrote to, actually.
All about crying is like
Pissing everything out on the ground. Yeah.
Okay. Time for you to piss on the floor.
All right. This is just a little brevity that I wrote, and it definitely fits the quote. Crying was like pissing everything out on the ground, and it's called Crying on the Kitchen Floor. Crying on the kitchen floor. I'm helpless, this is true. Wishing I could do something, but God is calling you. You've only been here a few days, leaving much too soon. I mop the floor with tear-soaked hair. There is nothing I can do. End poem.
Wow. That was fast brevity. What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, here Stephen captures an element of desperation which fits some of Stephen King's best writing. And the scene that he writes for himself also proves his own maturity of being a performer, because the whole thought of becoming helpless, that you're just crying on that floor, what more sums up that you've reached a point in life that perhaps you just really cannot go on unless at least some time passes before there's any recovery whatsoever from whatever kind of tragedy has taken your usual sense of stability to the point of self-harm, and even, as you can see from here, weeping to excess or uncontrollable emotional responses. So I like all that being tied in with the whole thought of the scene of crying on the floor.
Thank you, Raz.
What do you think, Wayne?
I like it. What it says, I like the title even. It's Crying on the Kitchen Floor. I've been there several times, and helplessness is true. And then reach up and grab a chair, and the chair turns over on top of you, and you go, oh, my God. So I've been there before, and I'm glad I don't drink like that no more. But it's a good point, and I don't like that. I don't know about the part about being there a few days. I only made like 24 hours as long as I laid there. So it's a good poem. I like it.
Thanks, Wayne.
Oh, that definitely would be your younger days. Yeah.
Much younger,
it
much
would
younger.
Be. Yeah. Yeah, it would be your younger days, too.
Mm.
And right now, our son's days.
Yeah.
Sadness adequately put.
Yeah.
There's a tear in my beer.
Yeah, there is a tear in my beer.
A tear in my beer, that's right. I've fallen and I can't get up.
Some days. That could be you now.
Person needs life alert system, right?
Yeah.
Not going to get off that kitchen floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, if you're right, though, yeah. I like the humor aspect that we're able to pull from it, because I know the quote is the serious one. And I know what it means too, but yeah. I'll take, rising on the floor from being drunk for the last day. That was the past. That's not the present anymore, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't need to say much more except that'll do.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Peg. She's not even here, and I'm saying it right.
Yeah?
That'll do, Peg.
That'll do, Pig.
Yep, this guy's not even here. If this guy was here, I'd be saying that'll do, donkey.
I don't know.
She must have been one hell of a woman.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You just like the butt smoke.
I do. It's fun.
You're a chat buster. Okay. I am going to read for Iqbal, and the quote chosen is, "If a fear cannot be articulated, it can't be conquered." And this is by Iqbal Osman, and this is called Tears Add Beauty. Teardrops mask in eyes of humanity, subtle gestures defining an essence of being human, emotions rent in pain, everlasting, cradle beauty wrapped to God's perfection, always dimpled, the touch of kindness lingering, emotions millionfold as it discovers, hidden truth woven into life's disclosure, mean and defined by pain and a blueprint always and forever to realities unfolding. And
I thought this was an excellent brevity from Iqbal. The ability to feel, to have compassion, that's called being human. It is those who are unable to do this that we need to beware of, I think. I thought that's the message I got from this poem. I thought it was very well done. What did you think, Raz?
Yeah, it's a profound statement, but it cannot be taken at face value. I would love to agree with the title, Tear Adds Beauty. I myself do not see where the other word comes in with the tears, except that we go through that process of weeping sometimes because there's nothing else to do but actually let go of the emotion through the manner of coming tears. That much is clear, however, within the verses. And that's what I've received back from this poet's poem.
Awesome comment. What do you think, Wayne?
I think it's a lovely poem. It's pretty deep, and I like the way it reads, especially the part where he goes, "Cradle beauty wrapped in God's perfection, always dimpled to the touch of kindness lingering." It's very poetic. It's a good poem all the way through, and good meaning, and it's kind of deep. But when you start reading into it, it's kind of a deep poem, and I like it. I like it.
Excellent comment. Hun, what do you think?
yeah, I did think it was a moving right because tears, they are a release. They're needed to free the soul at that moment. Because to have a heart of purity is to feel and love and have compassion. And that definitely shows the beauty possessed. Without letting out those emotions at times, it does kind of make you more hardened. And then it makes it hard to feel certain things because I've known in the past that sometimes when you have a hard time showing your emotions or even just having a hard time to cry, then you're very closed off as well and you're a difficult person to try to interact with because all you've got is all this bottled stuff that just turns to anger instead. And, at the end of the day, that doesn't help anybody if all you carry is anger and you bring it forth onto others. But, the quote that I had mentioned, too, about, the fear cannot be articulated, it can't be conquered. That's true, too, because sometimes when you can conquer your own fears, then you let the emotions out that, held you back, too.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a release. And we don't need that. We definitely do. Some fears are bigger than others, though, as far as being able to let go.
That's true.
It's all open for debate. I don't want to say the poem was bad. It was a good poem, but if they're beautiful tears, I'm of a different mind. It's simply a state of sadness. There's nothing to read in there of aesthetic value.
Well, that's where I got my idea from, because I think what he was saying is it's beautiful that you're able to cry, because that means you are human.
Yeah.
If you're unable to cry, then there might be a little something wrong with you. That's what I got from it.
That too.
Because, if you're unfeeling, like, for instance, what you said earlier, a serial killer, unfeeling, no thought for right or wrong, so he doesn't cry when he starts off as a kid killing frogs or cats.
Yeah, no moral compass.
Yeah, but when do tears form? When something tragic has come to pass. And that's something a metaphor could easily read into calling tragedy beautiful, but it's really a kind of two-dimensional type of thought, not completely accurate with the assessment of neither, because beauty is not born of tragedy. Beauty is really a perception you have of something exceeding normal, be normal but beautiful, while what's tragic is when you've reached a form of misfortune. Although these kinds of metaphors can usually be drawn in any kind of poems, really.
Yeah. Well, I definitely see where you're... I'm sorry, Wayne?
I said there can be beautiful killings and beautiful tragedies. It's just how you expect it. There's ugly tragedies and there's beautiful tragedies. It's how you look at them. They can be kind of considered a beautiful tragedy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually have a poem that I wrote almost a year ago called Beautiful Disaster. So I don't even remember. I just remember I titled it that. I'd have to look at it again.
Yeah. Well, that might be pictures. But what were you going to say?
Well, no, I just agree with Wayne, and then also
if you would have
with
just
what
titled it Beautiful
too.
Tragedy, then it would be more of a standard on approaching the thought of a tragedy. But then there's what is implied by the title. You have tears and then add beauty. So that's a whole new thought.
Yeah, that's it, you're right.
Yeah.
Tears add beauty.
Yeah,
tears don't add beauty.
Are you looking it up?
I am. See, first of all, I can't. Let me try. Beautiful Innocence?
No, it was called Beautiful Disaster, I thought.
Well, I typed in that. Maybe you're misthinking.
Maybe I'm misthinking. I don't know. But we should.
If you can find it, then read it. Because now you got my curiosity.
All right, let me look it up, because I remember disaster was in it.
Yeah.
The word disaster was in it.
And the funny thing is, when I type in beautiful in the search engine for your page, you know what comes up? Come and eat chicken with me, beautiful. A little stand humor.
Just a little more time, and I'll believe tears add beauty makes perfect sense, like all the other poems.
Yeah. Tears are beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I must be I know I wrote one. Maybe I deleted it.
Maybe you did delete it. You and I both are guilty of that. But that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means Princeton. But yeah, I think it is good if you can share emotions, because for the longest time you were closed up and all you knew was anger.
Yeah.
And now you can let everything in and release it the proper way. And anger is not the only emotion felt.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you should be able to feel everything and not just be so closed off.
True.
That only hurts in the long run. I see. Okay, while you're puttering around trying to find the one that you thought of, I am going to get ready to drop another one. And this one was linked to me by LG Mace. And the quote that she felt if it was, The town knew about darkness, knew about the darkness that comes on the land when location hides the land from the sun, and about the darkness of the human soul. And I was wondering if Raz could read.
You want me to read?
Yeah, could you?
Yeah, LG Mace, Desperation. Desperation. Evil and darkness are alive and well on our planet right now. Corruption, crime, rape, and murder. Hell has come to claim its victims, who escape somehow. When mankind turns its back on kindness, compassion, and love, and confusion, it's gobbled up by selfishness, war, blood-spilled streets. Mankind of redemption needs an infusion. Wherever you look, the bloody minions of hell seem to be winning. Around and about you, you're surrounded by pure evil and all its wicked sinning. There are no clouds with silver linings. Rainbows are rarer too. Has God given up on the human race and said his final adieu? And all those mixed up souls hiding in the shadows, just waiting for the light. It's time for the legions of leaders and heroes to come out and begin the fight. There's still time to turn this whole bloody, stinking mess around, to hear God's angels trumpeting their victory sound. We cannot just give up and give in, to sink into the demon-controlled quagmire of desolation. Hold on and hold out. The saints are resurrected to save us all from this depraved desperation. End poem.
Excellent read, yes. And I thought this, it's unfortunate that her poem is truth.
Yeah.
You know, it does seem like we are devolving rather than evolving anymore. I'm not sure what would turn things around and bring everybody together in peace and harmony, but it'd be nice if it would happen soon.
It would be.
This was an excellent write. What do you think, Raz?
Yeah, she brings up the relevant issue that not only is the criminal mind at an access throughout the world, so are the different forms of suffering of people and war. But despite all this, there's the hope that even if this was the last days, sooner or later, you know, you have to think that the good will overcome the evil of the world, because that's simply how the order has always been known when it comes to the eternal balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent comment. What do you think, Wayne?
I think she went dark right off the bat. We said evil and darkness are alive and well. It talks about crime, rape, and murder, and she's pretty bleak as first. And I'm glad she gave a little hope at the end, where the saints were resurrected, gives at least a chance of survival from the evil. But she painted a very bleak picture in this poem, and I'm just glad it ended with a little high note, because it was pretty depressing. But it's good, right?
It can get
Excellent
pretty
comment.
dark.
What do you think,
it can go completely dark, but then, you know, there's the light. That's just how everything's been explained when it comes to good and evil and that eternal war.
All right. Can't give up, like she said. Can't give up and give in.
That's true. Very true. I would have to agree with what you guys are saying, because in life, you know, good versus evil, it's the never-ending battle in life, whether it's within or with what is all around us, with what society puts out there. Because there is a lot that needs to change. And her right definitely speaks of that, to not give up and to give in, hold on and hold out, for saints will resurrect. I told her that is a great talent to her, right? Because darkness has taken over. Change, radical change needs to happen. You know, there's so much around us, and it's all created by man to begin with. And if man can easily create all these things, then shouldn't man also be able to rectify all these things that are going on too? It seems like it's more easier to give into the dark than to the light, in a lot of different respects, but also turning a blind eye sometimes to what is seen, and not trying to come up with a solution to change what's going on. Because, yeah, she speaks of a lot of different things here. about the selfishness, greed, and all these other types of crimes that go on, and they happen every day, and it seems like they're only escalating more so as time goes on. A lot of anger in the world, a lot of hate, a lot of hurt.
I think there's pretty well evil and good is balanced in the world, and it's just you hear more evil than you hear good, and you overlook the good a lot easier than you do the evil. So I think there's a lot of good in the world, and I think it's pretty well balanced, and I think it's always a balancing act in there.
Well, it makes perfect sense. On the news, you see all those horrific things that happen all the time, but then by comparison to the national population, everybody else has not in the slightest bit been trying to ruin somebody else's life. Yeah. That's the greater majority.
One bad can cover a whole lot of good up.
That's true.
That's true, too, yeah. A lot of good points there. We definitely have talked about that a lot. That sometimes it just takes one bad apple, and it kind of
spoils a bunch.
Yeah. But then also with what Wayne said, too, that there is a lot of good out there in the world as well. And I try to focus on that daily instead of focusing so much on the negative, because sometimes if you focus, I don't know, with different things I say to you at times, but I like to try to focus on the positive as much as I can every day, because it also helps your mindset, and it helps you to be able to give on to others in a positive way, too.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said about positivity and how it can influence others and change a day, even just for a minute.
Yeah, evil sells a lot of tickets. I mean, evil sells a lot of tickets. Where good don't sell many tickets.
Yeah.
Box office.
Is that Victoria thing in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny you could pick that up, but yeah. That's Miss Vicky. She likes to be a radio star.
Create something that cute like a kitty cat. Why would he permit evil to win?
Yeah.
Evil's not. I have faith evil ain't gonna win.
Yeah.
But I
Evil.
gotta go put some lotion on. My arms are killing me. I poisoned myself this week, and my arms are just going crazy.
I know. Well, you work on taking care of yourself, Wayne.
Yeah.
Yep.
No itching.
Lotion on. It's a wild week.
Calamine.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Take it easy, guys.
Take it easy, Wayne. Good night.
Well, yeah, I definitely will close the same with what Wayne said is true. If you let evil take over and if you give in, then nothing is gained. Yeah, fight, fire, but instead of giving negativity back, you give negativity back.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It does.
All right, Rez?
Yeah, I'm not the only one coughing.
Yeah.
Got all poetry bugs still going around.
I don't know, for some reason my throat felt like it was on fire.
Playing through all the modems like you've been speculating. That's what you said the other blog.
Yeah. Yep. That's definitely one way to put it. Exactly. Okay, I am going to. Okay. This is my page here, and I am going to share a collaboration I did with my son James a while back, and we also chose quote 13. So now we're having a good balance. Excuse me. I read slow. I don't cough too much. Okay. And this is. Hold on a second. Let me pick up Deb because she probably has to read one.
Hello, Deb.
Hello, Deb.
Hello. Okay.
How you doing, Deborah?
Not feeling well? Hi, Raj. Kay, not feeling well?
She's got a little bit of a cough going.
Yeah.
I'm sick as well, like Steven. And to make matters worse, the coronavirus is going to hit the United States. So, I mean, at this rate, everything was really Stephen King's A Stand. I'm sorry, Deborah.
Yeah, no, I hope you both feel better.
A year.
I hope you both feel better.
Survive. I mean, there's no humor to the apocalypse, why not someone who would not like the thought of living alone by themselves in America with everybody dead? You match the description.
He's going to be like Will Ferrell and have a bunch of balls with faces on them. All right, Deb, did you... No, not Will Ferrell. Forte.
No. Oh, yeah, Last Man Standing.
Last Man Standing. It was a good show. They canceled it too soon.
Yeah.
Deb, do you need to read and run?
Yeah, please. But if Kay was about to read, I'll wait. I can wait my turn.
Oh, okay.
Was Kay about to... Yeah, I'll go after you.
Yeah.
I want to hear yours.
Okay.
Collaboration with a friend, James.
Well, no.
That's our son.
I've done 3 collaborations in the last year with my son.
Wait, it's with your son? Oh, then I really, really want to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. This is called Branches Provide Natural Framing. Elysium's touch of evil was a virtuous dwelling among river's edge. How could this be the personification of evil? Wicked and divine was the town, dread and sunset. Lost angel of silence, onlookers given impatient sympathy, wondering to oneself, who coined the phrase, watch your mouth, as it really never made sense. Lost mourning, seeking comfort, yesterday's child of angst, today's forgotten, frozen a fire within, accelerant that could devour a forest, personification of evil, swooped down like a raven, watcher in the woods, lamenting upon the ruins, lacking of life as only memories exist. You see, dreams are woven lies of secrets, murder in childhood's end, destinies faded in the land of reckoning. You once had a brook pure in heart and mind, now black stillness that is comforting amongst the valley of paradise is all that is known. And
Yes, very cool. And James, of course. Hopefully, maybe he's listening. I don't know if you told him you were going to read this or not.
No, I forgot to tell him.
I'm pretty sure I could actually figure out whose words were whose.
Yeah.
But this makes me.
You could definitely pick out the one line of James's.
Yeah, but this makes me think of the craziness of life, and yes, it definitely fits the prompt too, because the wicked and the divine was the town dreading the sunset. Yeah, Salem's Lot definitely dreaded the sunset. Yeah. But yeah, this is really, really, really cool. Raz, what did you think?
Yeah, well, for one thing, on the side note of the poem, that it was written between a mother and the son, I don't have that relationship with my mom. The closest thing we're going to be to talking about metaphorical fact is maybe mentioning to one another what goes on the news. But here, when it comes to the metaphysics, you have a kind of feeling that the narrator speaks of being disowned by heaven any more than Adam and Eve did in John Milton's Paradise Lost, which is a real provocative realization, knowing that what there is to the world is really somehow not of any greater good. And while you go on with the verses, from a dreaded sunset, there's the thought of black stillness. And that can only remind one of a place where there had been much hope and light, but even at night or during the day, only a shadow overhangs this very town. So that's, with the subheading of Society and Sadness, the way you might feel of being a bit haunted, that what's wrong with the world just really has 24 hours a day to keep on trying to dismantle our very fabric and stability when it comes to being a society.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, excellent comment. What do you think, Deb?
Well, for one, I have to say I'd be hard-pressed to try to pick out lines. I think that you guys write really, really well together, Kay. I think that it speaks volumes when you can blend a poem so effortlessly that I find myself sitting here reading a line and like, and trying to see if I can't pick out something that I think James wrote versus something that you wrote. So I think that's a really big deal. I'm very impressed that he blended so flawlessly with you. And as far as the poem itself, I like lines like, lost angel of silence, onlookers giving impatient sympathy, wondering to oneself, who coined the phrase, watch your mouth? As it never really made sense. So true. I mean, it's not like you can ever see your mouth unless you're looking in a mirror. So that is an interesting question to pose there. And let me see. Personification of evil swooped down like a raven watcher in the woods, lamenting upon the ruins, lacking of life as only memories exist. You see, I really think that this is a deep and powerfully emotional piece, and you make sure you tell him that I think that he writes beautifully with his mama. Great work.
Maybe, I don't know, you might get mad at me, but I'll give this away. Deb, one of the lines that you chose was one of James's.
Yeah.
I would never get, like I said, you guys wrote amazing, and it just, if I didn't know it was a collaboration because you told me ahead of time, I would have been gobsmacked to find out that it was.
Well, some comments. All right. Going to drop Deb's in?
Yeah.
All right, Deb, you're on.
Okay, I'm refreshing my page, and I don't even know what happened, guys. I sat down to write a vampire poem, and I wrote two, just took me in a crazy direction, and I ran with it. Okay, there we go. Refresh, and here we go. Trying to remember which one I picked quote 15. We'd all be scared if we knew what was swept under the carpet of each other's mind. Anyway,
my highest popularity, Nate.
It's called
Aiming.
Yeah,
that's the one most people wrote to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's called Aiming Bug Spray to See You Choke. Here we go. The flame-filled sunball drops from the skies, triggering the darkness and tossing shadows down into the woods and fields, marking them as the opal moon climbs, hanging center stage. An owl hoots as light beams hit the eyes of a raccoon, and they glow as he growls and runs. Crickets rub their brown wings, chirping dirges for the possum hunting for dinner in the grass, grabbed by a python snake coiling as it strikes. 8 slithering scorpions hiss, spitting poison from stingers shaped like the tongue wagged, vomiting venom laced with lies, and you laugh, weaving an arachnid web, but it captures you, spotlighting the claws and flaws that you wear. And now that giggle you hear echoing is mine. End poem.
Yeah, really cool. First off, the imagery. I love the imagery, especially like in the first 2 stanzas when you're talking about the sun going down and the moon coming up. But I can picture the owl hooting and the light hitting the raccoon in the eyes as he growls and runs. And, of course, I could hear the crickets, too. But what you're saying in here, it just hits me because it is something that I've learned over time. Sooner or later, true colors are shown. It is impossible to wear a mask 100% of the time. There's been many times in the past that Kay and I were sucked into a friendship, only to find out that the person was a complete and utter narcissist. And like you said at the end, one can only hope that karma comes calling. It's, that's the ultimate goal, right? Awesome, right, Deb?
Yeah. No, it's sad how many people actually do turn out to be narcissists. Now that you brought that up, it's like, I'm sorry, I have to apologize that I didn't realize that the world revolved around you. I'm just somebody who lives here, you know. So there's so many of them, and thank you for the awesome comment.
Raz, what did you think?
Becky? Yeah, here the poem has become kind of enigmatic for me to fully comprehend the message. Although I'd like to say I could relate, I see these images from nature, the fact that there's wildfires, and that threatens most of the natural order during the process. But going to a point of understanding the metaphor, I'm really just lost, more or less, in the metaphors that she's using. But I would like to learn more of what she might have meant. However, that's a secret a poet does not have to reveal.
Don't worry about it, Raz. I've been there.
Yeah, no, it's just mostly about the if you think about the poor possum that was just out trying to get some food and got struck by the snake, and think about what their phony baloney, and then you get hit by the real them, and it knocks you for a loop like being wrapped up by a snake type of thing. It's just a nod to falseness. I don't know.
And it has something to do with society that kind of reminds me of how we're all caught up in a system that everyone is of a different status, and while one part might benefit of that same hierarchy, there's a kind of disbalance that sooner or later the other side is the one at loss. If you're trying to draw more on society, it's true that the ecosystem is very much like the same type of hierarchy that you find in society, in which you can't take away too much from anything unless you're not going to incidentally also sort of tipper what remains of the other half.
Yeah. I think part of the reason that it took such a crazy turn is because I was working extra hard to try and write free verse rather than rhyme, because I wanted to write some free verse for Kay, and I'm a rhymer, so it's harder for me. So the actual
I had a different take on the poem as well, that it was not enigmatic, and then why everyone at the end of the poem, the two individuals in particular, are sharing a kind of giggle through the echoing of the burning of the woods or the burning in the wilderness, is because at heart, when we reach a point of our own destruction, we might be humored by the fact. But, I mean, that's what I see in this poem, not necessarily what the poet might have meant.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the fires come in, but like I said, I was mostly just trying to impress Kay, because she's a mega free verse writer, and I wanted to see, like I said, I've been waiting to see what she thought. But like I said, it wasn't really about the
humor
fire.
Almost seems to be, I mean, well, we lost everything. I mean, why not just more or less be amused by the fact, you know, a kind of hard-earned one. The giggling at the ending with the echoes.
Well, the person was really laughing. The person was picking at me, and then in the end, I was the one who got to laugh. It wasn't really about fire or anything. It was about fake people and what's thinking.
Yeah. Me too.
Why don't you go ahead and comment?
Yeah, I don't rhyme. I'm only a free verser because I just can't, as far as my brains even want to try. So I thought your free verse was pretty cool. And, you know, speaking of writing, I wrote my first hand tune on Sunday for one of Sky's contests. And it was easier than I thought, but I free versed it. I didn't rhyme it. So, yeah, I could say I did that. I just wanted to say that. I speak to you right now. But the right itself, it definitely speaks true to life. Yeah. It speaks to society as well, because I know, you know, in life we definitely come across a lot of different people. And I know for me, I've had to walk away from a lot of family too because of what they brought to the table. And sometimes I've learned that just being by yourself is not so bad, because if it means you're happier, then so be it. I thought the right was cool all around with what you brought. And yeah, this was like the most popular right. I think 90% of our rights tonight was to this quote.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wow.
It spoke.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I may say, I'll hit you with a.
Yeah, you
I
guys
just
are
want to
really
hit you
great
with a
with
metaphor.
picking these quotes.
Oh, thanks.
Go ahead, son.
We enjoy it watching. We call it work, but we enjoy watching the movies and the shows and pulling quotes.
Homework, yeah.
There's no bug spray
but
for other people unless you're the government, sharing pesticides.
Yeah.
That's going literal. But I think basically what the poem was about is somebody was trying to feed you a shit burger, but they ended up eating it themselves, and that's why you're giggling in the end.
Exactly.
Right. Awesome.
That's a burger I just want to eat.
And no lettuce or tomato or even a slice of cheese.
Damn. Boy, Wayne was writing about piss coming up from the ground, and now we're talking about shit burgers.
Yeah. Okay.
That
But you
sewage
never
must be
expected
backing
those
out of
to
the river.
Yeah.
Don't let it go to waste.
Yeah, why not?
All right. You gonna stick around for a poem, Deb, or you gotta go?
Yeah, I was gonna wait for one more.
Somehow this discussion has not ruined the very non-hospitability of Salem's Lot.
Yeah. All right. You want me to read for Kobe Mondale?
Yeah.
All right. And what did he write too?
The same one about what's in people's minds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'd all be scared if we knew it was swept under the carpet of each other's minds, yeah? How about that? And he calls this On the Convergence of Dichotomy. Did I pronounce that right, or is it dichotomy? I think it's dichotomy. Anyway, in the shallow of tonight, I construct a face and give it a name, a memorial to the waning bones of my father, or perhaps to the coal dust that tans leather. Every tonight you build yourself afresh upon the ashes of a monsoon gone with the woman you loved, while I count the stars that envelop the stairwell from whence you fell into nothing and ricocheted. You, a figment of my imagination, a part of my identity, you survived me. You, 1,000 deaths I lived in a no man's land, you survived me. End poem. Is that a wowzer? That's a wowzer. Yeah. If Boo were here, she'd say holla. I thought, we all have some darkness in us. A part of us we hide away from the world, something we feel like if it's discovered we would have to hide ourselves in shame. But the fact that we were able to hide it, to control it, allows us to interact with society. I thought this was an excellent write. Deb, I know you got to run soon, so we'll let you comment.
I second that. Wow. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with the poet, but they did an amazing job here. Let me see. Every tonight you build yourself afresh upon the ashes of a monsoon gone with the woman you loved, while I count the stars that envelop the stairwell from whence you fell. I kind of like the old-fashioned flair to some of the writing.
Yeah.
And let me see. Where's this? Okay, you, a figment of my imagination, a part of my identity, you survived me. You, 1,000 deaths I lived in a no man's land. You survived me. I think that they did an excellent job with this quote. And it's really cool to see the different directions that everybody takes from the same starting point, which is one of the coolest things about people choosing the same quote. You get to see the different directions. And I think I'm going to have to pay a little more attention to Kobe because I really thought this was great.
Awesome comment. Did you have a show tomorrow you want to plug before you hit the road?
Tomorrow, yes, please. Tomorrow is Crystal, and if you sign your name on her board, she will secretly give you a room from the game Clue, and she wants you to write about that room but not mention it anywhere, and people have to guess what room you're in, and then at some point during the show, she announces what room the person was killed in, or it's a take on the game Clue. You would get better information from her topic board, but that's the general idea, and that's tomorrow at 9 Eastern.
Awesome. Yeah, I got my room.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I got mine too. All right, you guys, cool. I got to go. Love and respect. Amazing quotes, and I hope you guys feel better. And don't forget to tell James I think he writes often with his mom.
We will. Thanks, Deb. Take it easy.
All right.
Love and respect.
Take care, everyone.
You too.
Good night.
All right, Raz, what did you think of Kobe's poem?
Yeah, she touches upon how there might be another person to every single personality. And so while you're progressing further in life, this other person who's more or less your own psyche as well, sometimes they either take the lead or they go all the way back into the shadows. But there's something specific here about the identity surviving that which was the narrator. So in this case, it's like they lost themselves in who they hardly even knew, that was always living as part of one and the same mind. And that's what I saw in the poem.
Excellent comment. What'd you think, hon?
Well, I read this a few times last night before I
read this a couple times too before I commented.
Because the thing is, sometimes if you read something, you read it more than once, layers will slowly unfold onto you if you keep reading it, because sometimes you don't pick things up on the first try. This spoke to me in a lot of different ways, because as I told him in my comment, we carry our pain, and there are thoughts that no one else is privy to, faces we put on and wear for the benefit of others, for whatever reason lies. But also at the end of the day, what exists in the heart of the one that loves back will see past all that and embrace those there. And I see his right as an inner narrative as well, but despite it all, part of one's identity survived despite the reckless behavior inflicted onto oneself. We're also speaking of love being remembered. I think his words are a homage to life itself. It has its own reflective state to it that I see. Because there is so many ways a person can be reckless in life, and they can destroy parts of who they are, but also destroy relationships they have as well. And sometimes it's hard to come back from, and it alters the self in ways that it's hard to bounce back from sometimes.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot that I saw here. There's a lot of different ways to see it. But, yeah, this one had my mind going in a lot of different ways with it. I thought this was great that he shared it, because this is the first time he's ever shared for our show. And since he gave a blanket, I expect to probably hear more from Kobe.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Thanks, Kobe.
Yeah. I know this one. I read it, then I looked at the quote that he wrote to from our show, and I read it again. Then I looked at the quote at the bottom that he wrote for our contest from another poet. So I read it again.
Yeah.
Then I looked at our quote again, and I read it again before I finally said, oh, okay. Oh, this is how I'm commenting. So, yeah, I read it like 3 or 4 times before I finally commented.
Yeah, like I said, sometimes if you read something more than once, it will kind of show itself to you, but you have to be able to look at it, with a clear state to try to see what the words are saying to you.
Where did you want to go from here?
Yeah.
Identity loss.
Yes.
Yep.
Sometimes when you lose an identity, it's hard to find it.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a way to find it, too, if you're willing to do the work to find who you are again.
Yeah.
Let go of the reckless
Or
aspect.
sometimes you turn into somebody completely different.
Yeah.
We should do a show on that movie.
What movie?
Regarding Henry.
Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
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 Not so much Mary, though.
No, it would have to be on. It would have to be on Wild Card Saturdays.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just about how his identity changed. Because before, you know, his
He was a
accident,
dick.
he was a dick. But then he had that accident, and it changed his life radically. And he turned into a softer person who knew how to show emotion and love and embrace life.
Yep.
Sometimes it takes a big event to change it all up.
I know there's some quotes in that movie.
I know. I am sure of it, too.
Sometimes identity loss goes for the worse, and you go to the Overlook Hotel, and your father, he's a relatively decent man, and then he becomes Jack Torrance with an axe who tries to break down the door.
Yeah.
That, too.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, what was it called? What we saw back in November? It was...
Oh, the sequel. We saw Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep, yeah. You know, they ended the movie with Danny, an adult, being back in the Overlook Hotel.
Mm.
And it burns to the ground with Danny in it.
Mm.
So it kind of comes full circle there with how Danny kind of followed in Daddy's footsteps.
Mm. Sort of.
Trusted Lloyd, the bartender. Who's not going to trust Lloyd? You're all alone in a hotel. Of course, it's a bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pouring you a drink.
Yeah, telling you a tale. Of course, the bartender was always the enabler, too. He was the one who was pushing, you know, as to move forward, do this.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. We'll do a show on The Shining.
Yeah. There's a lot of great aspects to go with that, yeah. I prefer the Jack Nicholson version.
Well, it'll be the book and the movie.
Well, yeah, I know.
Quotes from the book and the movie.
Yeah.
There might be about 60 or 70 quotes for that one.
No, you go too crazy, you're going to boggle people's minds as to where to go. You can't do overkill.
Yeah. A limit.
Yeah, you got a limit. We technically, for next Tuesday, we had to cut some quotes out because we were like over 30. So we were reading some and crossing some off, actually.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned yesterday, the other time, how there's the amazing Kubrick's movie, but in the book it's just animal cut shrubbery, animal sculptures out of leaves and bushes rather than a whole maze.
Yeah, and the moon.
What are the differences?
Yep.
Heck yeah.
I've been to Disney World, and, you know, that animal sculpture out of actual bushes, it gets kind of freaky when it looks like they're staring back at you, so I can see how there's an element of horror there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. Where'd you want to go, hon?
Okay. We've got two left. So I'm going to read for Joseph, and then the last one I will have for Ashley.
All right.
So I am going to see what one did Joseph say he referenced it to. Okay, prompt number 8. Yeah, and that is number 8. Oh, at 3 in the morning, the blood runs slow and thick, and slumber is heavy. The soul either sleeps in blessed ignorance of such an hour, or gazes about itself in utter despair. There is no middle ground. How true is that? No middle ground. Okay, this is by Joseph Moon, and this is Thoughts in the Mind, a Wild Hurricane. Thoughts in the mind, like a wild hurricane, waved in a nervous grip, the wet suicidal blade. This June morning, I run ragged to evade. Last night, I thought I would not wake again. No matter how fast I run, my shadow, washed in a wound with ancient blood. Upon my soul it bursts like a cold, endless flow. I see skeleton silhouettes crying in the window. I could explain them, but tears would break the glass. For darkness is my candle, loneliness my light. For wise men at their end, no dark is right. The whirling waves of stars that shoot past. Demons of subtle guile, come and gaze a while. Even in my dungeon, I can sigh and smile, and flee the infliction of this dreary life. Cut the twisted tongue, bare the throat to knife. I was dead, then alive, weeping and laughing. Yet I'm no candle, I'm scattered smoke. End poem.
I just blew the smoke. This is, this was awesome. Awesome. Yeah, awesome dark imagery. And a lot of it really speaks to me. The demons and the skeleton silhouettes represent past mistakes and inner darkness. The personal dungeon represents fears that keep you imprisoned in your own mind. I thought that this was a very, very awesome brevity. Joseph knows how to bring it.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. What do you think, Raz?
Another brilliant poem by Mr. Moon. What gets to me, although this might just be on the darkness and pain and self-loathing, is the kind of waking state of helplessness that you see here with lines that after you've drawn the blade to yourself and you wake up and you did not know if you're ever going to wake up again. That is a specific in which you reached a point maybe in life where you could use considerable amount of help. Those are graphic lines, as well as finally finding nothing else to the candle but that what you believe to be your spirit is really the wicker smoke. Good graphic imagery and a great way of explaining the darkness by Mr. Moon.
Awesome comment. What do you think, hon?
Yeah, I think that fits dead on to the prompt that he chose. Because as he said in his and, that it is a dark tale, and he titled it under self-loathing and pain and dark. And, of what he speaks of is so very true because something that a lot of us do touch on. We all carry our own sadness. And depending on the person, we carry our own self-loathing as well for our own reasons. And sometimes when you're there, it's very hard to shake it. Reading towards the end, the closing, it just, it really brought it home. I was dead, then alive, weeping and laughing. Yet I'm no candle, I'm scattered smoke. It definitely talks about the conflict of the inner mind and there being no middle ground. And when you're stuck in the darkness and the self-loathing, it's kind of hard to grab out of it. This is just awesome. It really is. This is like a drop the mic moment type of thing that Joseph did with his right. Because
you should have saved it for last.
Maybe. He wrote this 9 months ago, but, it's like, dang. It's all there and then some. I don't know what more to say. He just blew my mind. Even though I read it when he first wrote it, but still, reading it out loud sometimes it brings the words to life more so. So, Joseph, he's always amazing. But he knows that because many tell him. And I'm one of the many that tell him. So, okay. Let me grab the last one here. Okay.
That's what his name is. I couldn't remember what his name was.
Yeah?
I haven't seen him on the board in a while.
Yeah. I don't know any better. I like to address everybody by their first name, usually not their username.
Should we call it Anthony?
I don't know. I feel I have to be formal. I don't know what he wants me to call him.
Then why do you do
No, don't use my publication name. My name's Raz. I never said anything different about that.
Some people I talk to more often than others, so I feel more comfortable. Because I talk to a lot of people every day.
Raz, would you like to read for Jerry on Broadway?
Yeah, thanks. It would be an honor, sir. For Mr. Jerry on Broadway, the poem title, Haunted. Haunted. As a young boy, I took running leaps into bed at night to elude the ugly beast that hid underneath, until it became a real thing, molesting me at home and in school. Puberty, the preeminent depredation, when able to see those monsters were sheer flesh and blood. So I began reading the Macabre to decode my bona fide horror chronicles of children that teased, bullied, and disavowed me, led astray by so-called friends or lovers, the parts left over once family members had their fill. This disconsolate man's greatest agony to discover a boogeyman came in assortments from the masses identified on a daily spectrum as teachers, proprietors, and colleagues, people on the street just like ghosts in my poetry and poem.
I like how he ends that. Yeah, he wrote to the quote, the only one to write to this quote, "There is no group therapy or psychiatry or community social services for the child who must cope with the thing under the bed or in the cellar every night, the thing which leers and capers and threatens just beyond the point of where vision will reach. The same lonely battle must be fought night after night, and the only cure is the eventual ossification of the imaginary faculties, and this is called adulthood." You read it, Raz. What'd you think?
Here, the person is describing a childhood of being abused by their fellow classmates, and from there, trying to understand why they were outcasted the whole grain or the actual general group. So there's trauma and the pain of not knowing why a person could be so different that they were singled out, that over the years it was like this individual himself could only remember that what there was of a normal social order became twisted by the fact they were ever a social victim, and they would perceive upon this world of nothing more or less than the very demons of their childhood, which would prey upon them. And when you look at it that way, you can only hope the person at least one day comes to terms how children really behave this manner of picking on their fellow peers for centuries, and there has to be the point where you reach acceptance, try to go on through more forms of development past the trauma into our now normal adult world. So I receive all of that from Mr. Gary on Broadway's right.
Awesome comment, yes. Yes, I thought, a lot of this was unfortunately very relatable to my childhood.
Mm.
I was bullied a lot, and also another event that happened that I won't mention on the air. I thought this was a powerful right. It does affect you. It does affect you for the rest of your life. It changes you. It changes who you are. It can kill your confidence.
Yeah.
And totally, it can just ruin you sometimes. This is a powerful right. Excellent read too, Raz. Hun, you get the last comment of the show.
I get the last comment. Okay. Well, as with any of the rights that get shared for our shows and contests, we have those moments of sitting and talking about it, and we were talking about this one last night.
Yeah.
Because in his AN, when he put the categories in, you were talking about the word pariah. Pariah means it's ostracized, looked down upon, and treated poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started talking about that from there to ourselves. You know, the rite itself, it sadly is relatable to many people in its own ways because I always say it was guilt by association because I, too, growing up, I was bullied. I was picked on greatly. And I know it was because of the last name that I bared because my family, they had their own mental health issues. They were in trouble with the law a lot. They were well known in town for all the wrong reasons. And my siblings, too. So when people looked at me, they just assumed, well, you're no better. You're just trash like the rest of them. So I got treated accordingly, even though I worked very hard to not be like they were. So I can understand the words very greatly that it's very challenging. It's hard to exist. It's hard to want to be, you know, around people and be in places if, you know, all you get is being picked on.
Mm.
It does. It creates its own anxiety. It creates its own fears. It kind of makes you close up more within and shut people out because of all that it brings. His right, he definitely speaks to the prompt very well. And, you know, it is true that sometimes I am a believer of psychiatry because I'm in counseling at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been, through the years. I'm a firm believer in it.
Yes.
I believe in certain ways it does help because I know for me it has, or else I would not have been able to go to the other side of the light without it. But there are certain things that no matter how much you talk about it, it won't fix it. It won't change the mindset either. Sometimes it's just, you know, a place to vent, but it doesn't fix it either. So I can understand his words and the quote that he chose as well and all the dimensions it brings to it. It was a great write, and it definitely speaks very well to the quote.
Mm.
And thank you for sharing it for the contest and for the show.
Indeed.
We follow the most by childhood happens to be those kids from Derry in the book It by Stephen King. But, I mean, since he's the writer of the night, I guess it goes along with the show. In Salem's Lot, the storyline was slightly different, but it recurs a couple of times in Stephen King's books how early childhood trauma more or less carries on with you into later adulthood. You know, he has a master's degree in psychology, right? Since the 70s, along with his literary degree. So he would know about that, why he chooses those kinds of factors in his horror stories.
Yeah.
It's a sad reality. That's very true. All it takes is just one thing, and it alters the course of who you become. You've got to decide as to what you're going to be in life, as to how you're going to let it affect you.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Did you want to...
Oh, yeah, give us acknowledgments.
Give your acknowledgments.
Yeah. I wanted to say thank you for the people who did call in.
Don't thank me because I'm here with you.
Okay, well, like I said, as we go through the show every night, everybody I drop down, it gets read. I write it on a piece of paper so that way I could check
Would that
it
be
off
Wayne and Debbie who called in other than myself?
Yeah, it would be Wayne and you and Deb and Stephen.
Okay. And Raz.
Yeah, we are.
Thanks.
And then, of course, collaboration with our son James, and then Bootho, he's been on the board the entire time.
Pretty much the whole time.
So, and of course, we read from Dan.
Howdy, Bootho. At work listening to us.
Because Mortuary's held so late at night, why you don't have more callers, Steve. I mean, it's a weekday. People work tomorrow.
Yeah, but you got to think there's people in California, too, that it's 3 hours earlier.
It is, yeah.
That's still calling.
Yeah. But to a later time.
So I don't mind the smaller crowds anyway.
Yeah. Things get to be a little overwhelming sometimes when there's a lot. It's good when there's a lot of callers, but it can get overwhelming too.
Yeah.
To try to get everybody reciprocated.
Yeah. Plus, when there's fewer callers, we have a chance to talk and have a little fun between each poem instead of mechanically churning out poems and comments.
Yeah.
You're that intimidating. Who wants to face you and the Mortuary and all these other shows? I bet they have the same impression I did, that it's just you and Kay who do the show usually, but you really mind callers and you don't. Why I keep calling back.
I got dropped.
Okay, we got dropped. Let me do this again. We're just about ready to head out the door. The blog talk is saying, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Lions dropping on the phone.
Wayne, Deb, Boodho, Heavenly Angel, Philip Poet, JEG, 325, Iqbal Osman, LG Mace, Kobe Mondale, Joseph Moon, Jerry on Broadway. Thank you to everybody.
The phone is saying that we have a bad Wi-Fi connection and it keeps booting me off.
Okay,
Before they shut us down for the quarantine, I'd like to say goodnight. This makes no sense. I knew you should have taken a left at Gatlin.